If the future of work is human, then leaders need to understand how the human brain brains. Okay, so what do I mean by that? This saying, this trend towards the future of work is human, means that despite all of the advances in technology, despite all of the fears we have that AI is going to suddenly take over our jobs, at the end of the day, companies are made of people. And leaders need to understand how those human brains brain in order to foster a culture of innovation and growth. Now, as we talked about before, there are different parts of your brain. And the part of your brain responsible for logic and making rational decisions and listening without getting triggered to critical feedback, that's the part of the brain that tends to go offline when we are confronted with challenges. And as leaders, you have the almost impossible task of managing the reasonable expectations that people hit their KPIs with this trend towards more empathy, more feelings, more human-centered, people-centered cultures. But the trick about that is this: there is a way to work with your colleagues, your clients, your direct reports that does not require you to have advanced training in psychotherapy. As a person who is trained as a psychotherapist, I am here to tell you that this trend of bringing all of the feelings and all of the empathy to work is wrong. Advances in neuroscience have shown that there are very key techniques to transmitting difficult information in ways that make people feel seen, that make people feel heard, that make people feel like they matter, like they're part of something bigger. And if you want to foster and nurture a culture of innovation and growth, you need to be able to know these very simple, almost stupidly simple neuroscience-based tools. I'm sure everyone in here has sat in a meeting that went 2, 3, 10 times as long as it should have, because someone all of a sudden started the ramble, and everyone is sitting there awkwardly, cringy, waiting for them to stop. If you want to make meetings twice as productive in half the time, there are very, again, simple neuroscience-based tools and tricks to help you do that. And as we're shifting towards predictability and stability, if there ever was such a thing, towards ongoing disruption and uncertainty, we need to understand which parts of the brain are getting fired up when people show up for work, when people are wrestling with the hybrid environment. When you know how the human brain brains, you can lead yourself better and you can lead your team better. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Basic neuroscience tools so you can help create a culture of belonging, so you can help people hit whatever peak performance means for them on any given day. And so you can create a culture where instead of this undercurrent of unease and uncertainty, which also happens to impede productivity, you can actually create a culture where people show up as their best selves, doing their best work, where conversations are more flowy and less jarring and less subject to interruptions and navigating emotional landmines. And it's almost horrifying when I learned that this stuff, these tools, they are not complicated. When you know just a little bit about the basic fundamental mechanics of the human brain, you're going to be able to keep your people out of these high emotional states without any therapizing. And you are going to be able to foster a culture of innovation and growth, even in these very uncertain, disruptive times.